Surface Prices, Mythos, and the General Magic documentary. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Macstock Connference and JulEcamm Creator Camp on July 9th through the 12th in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Join me, members of the MacVoices Live panel, and many of our viewers and listeners for a weekend of technology-based information and camaraderie. Sign up at MacstockConference.com and use the code MacVoices to save $50 off your ticket. See you there. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's Tuesday night. That must mean it's MacVoices live here on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We've been dark for a week or two, and so we have a lot to try to catch up on. And programming note, we're going to be dark again next week because of NAB. I am so sorry. For some reason, April is a month that everybody wants to schedule everything. And so I've been doing some traveling. I'm doing more traveling, and NAB also fits in there too. So apologies. Once we get past next week, I think it's smooth sailing as far as I can see, at least well into May, if not beyond. So just stick with us. Check the MacVoices website, and we keep posting the schedule for problems there.
I think you should just
I also
move to Vegas,
sorry.
Chuck.
Well, no, this is the first time since January, yeah. But then that's pretty much it after that. Just so everyone knows, last time we were together, we implemented a new process for show notes. And so now the show notes are on the MacVoices website live at macvoices.com/show notes, all one word. So you can find the links and everything there. They are there, they get posted to a private Google Doc for our patrons up to 24 hours ahead, and we've been publishing them out on the web about 30 minutes ahead too. So I want to try to get everybody in the habit of understanding that, maybe if you want to do a little research and see what we're going to be talking about, you can do that. Because from yesterday to today, I think we added 3 or 4 different new articles. So it's never quiet. It's never quiet. Oh, and there's Brittany in the chat. Hello, Britt.
Well, now it's a party.
It's a party.
Absolutely. And so how to pay the grumpy mint? Oh, I guess she means taxes. Yeah, that's right. It is tax day eve. So fun. There's a note to start out on. Yeah. So let's get to it. Let's go around the room and see who's here, and then we'll go from there. Top left of my screen, as always, Dave Ginsburg. Dave, good to see you.
Good to see you, Chuck. My God, I was going through MacVoices Live withdrawal after all these weeks off, but I'm so glad to be here. Had an amazing week last week with 2 episodes of In Touch with iOS. Everybody should go check out, listen to my interview with Jeff and Marty with David Pogue, and he talked about the Apple's 50 years of his book. So go check that out. But beyond that, I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, Dave. Good to have you. Guy Serle is here, and if you were here for the pre-show, I'm so sorry. Guy, good to have you.
It's nice to be had. I want to become more regular.
Why didn't I get out when I could?
Yeah, you and me both. Maybe we'll go dark later in just a few minutes, the way it's going.
Or maybe you already have.
Yeah. Speaking of going dark, Jeff Gamet is here. Jeff.
Nice.
Oh, that was excellent. Chuck, I am so proud of you. That was pro-level segue right there.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, sometimes you get the easy softballs across the plate.
Yeah, you took that easy softball and knocked it out of the park. Well done.
Thank you. Marty Jencius is here, and I am delighted to see Marty, see that you're surviving all of your podcasts. I think since we were here last, you started a new one. I don't believe that the Neo show had been up and running at that point.
I'm not sure if it had. The Neo Notebook on Sunday nights with Dave and with Eric and also Brett Kennedy, who is in the chat room. So it's fun. There's tons of news on it. You would be surprised how much comes out every week about it. And we're kind of taking it from topic. Last week's topic was switchers, people who were Windows who picked up a MacBook Neo, and what do they need to know? So,
yeah. But congratulations! I've listened to a couple shows. You're right. It is surprising how much is out there. The Neo has created quite a stir.
2,000 plus stories you found?
Yeah. Last but not least, Mr. Jim Ray rounds out the panel tonight. Pardon me, Jim. Good to have you.
I feel like I've seen you all somewhere before. Do I know you?
Have you been on the dating apps recently?
I thought it was on the side of milk cartons.
Well,
maybe that's it.
Potato,
I can do a quick dementia test if you need it. Look at guy, look away from guy. Look at guy, look away from guy.
Yeah, yes, Marty. I would like to know if you have dementia.
Yeah.
All right, Marty, since you brought it up, I'm going to tell the dementia story. Okay.
I didn't bring up your dementia story. You're bringing up your dementia
yeah,
story.
But you said dementia. You opened the door for me, and Chuck isn't stopping me, so I blame him. All right. So, my mom has vascular dementia, and so it's kind of a mild thing generally right now, but she's having speech therapy for it, and the speech therapist does cognitive tests as part of the speech therapy thing. So he did this whole thing. Mom had to point at the different things when he called out animals or objects, and then he would point to them. Mom would say the word. Mom mom would have to point to whatever it is when he said the word, back and forth. And so my dad is telling me about this, and he says, yeah, she identified the giraffe, and she could remember all the numbers in order and down the line. And he said, so that's great. Your mom was able to successfully pass the cognitive test that they wanted her to. This means she's now qualified to be president of the United States.
That's not funny.
No, but
I laughed.
My mom probably wouldn't do a bad job right now, considering the state of the world.
Again, not funny.
I know. Well, now we're back to dark humor.
So the chat room is asking if we're going to get to any stories tonight. So yes, we are, because I'm going to try to regain control.
Get control.
What a joke. Marty, I'm going to sort of leverage the first story tonight on your comment about Neo Notebook and 2,000 stories and all. Microsoft Surface has hiked the prices of their laptops, and so it's just another reason to buy a Neo Notebook. It's like, what is wrong with these people?
No clue. They have no clue. It's, they're basing it on their brand, and they're basing it on people who are brand loyal. That's my thought, is that they feel they can do that. And hiking the prices kind of put them closer to what was traditionally the Apple tax that we had to pay on all of our devices. So there's a little bit of, maybe a little bit of, if we raise the price on it, the brand will become more valuable. Without considering the software or the hardware that's involved. I really think that the MacBook Neo has thrown the market into a tizzy. They don't know how to react to, and the Mac Mini was the same way. They don't know how to react to a low cost, and their only thought is, well, the price difference was kind of the only thing we had going for us. So what do we do now?
Marty,
I have a
listen,
hypothesis, but I'll
Yeah.
wait.
well, Jeff, I'll just add this and I'll let you go. That's a really interesting perspective, Marty. I would never have thought of Microsoft trying. I mean, it's an interesting contrarian strategy if that's it. That okay, so we're going to make the loyalists pay more under the theory that maybe they'll value it more.
Yeah,
still
I'll
can't-
just say this, and
can't believe it.
then Jeff can have it. I think that it's an opportunity for them, just the way the whole tech market is right now, with costs going up. They can have a back-ended excuse saying, well, everything in technology and hardware is going up because of the global economy as it is. So that's another point where people can push up prices. So
Yeah, well, that's another good point. Jeff, hypothesize away.
Well, Marty just took my hypothesis, so well done, sir. Okay, so my hypothesis is that it's possible that instead of looking at this as a way to increase perceived value of the Surface as a product, someone in accounting started putting numbers in an Excel spreadsheet and looked at what their BOM costs are right now, and realized that the price they're paying for components is high enough that it's eating into profit margins too much. Therefore, prices need to go up. Simple as that.
Okay, look, any of those could be true. I don't know. It just this article just screamed at me, and it's like, really, So maybe I mean, have they just surrendered and figured, okay, we're gonna sell fewer notebooks because we do have some Windows that maybe Windows loyalists or people that are required to run Windows, and so we're going to try to make more money out of less sales numbers.
That was Apple's strategy in the 90s, and that worked so well.
If you look at the comments on that article, it seems like the article is a little bit misleading. Apparently, the price didn't just increase from 1,000 to 1,500. It was 1,000 on launch a couple of years ago with 256 gigabytes, and they raised the price and upped it to 512 a while ago. So they raised it to like 1,200. So the price is from 12 to 1,500, but that's not the same as the original $1,000. So it is a pretty good price hike, $300, but it's not near as big as what this 9 to 5 article is making it out to be.
So it could also be a clickbait article as well.
All right, I'm going to soapbox on you for a second, Jim. Thank you so much for pointing that out, because I did not look at the comments, and if this was my publication and I had all the information that Jim just relayed, I would kick this back to whoever wrote it and tell them to fix it. Don't write a misleading article.
And apparently the article it was based on does have the correct information.
Well, then that's really poor. So,
Guess a lot of writers are just like lowest common denominator these days.
Well, they're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get stuff out quick, so that somebody doesn't read it somewhere else.
They got themselves mentioned on MacVoices.
Yeah,
So it worked.
There you go.
Yeah, don't go to that article. Anyone who hears this, it's crap.
Great. Now I have to close that tab.
Well, go to this article. The article is what Anthropic's Mythos and Project Glasswing mean for your Apple devices. This is from Tidbits. Rich Mogul wrote this up. It's kind of a long read, but it's really a fascinating read. And I know we're not exactly on top of this as it was happening because, again, we've been dark for a little while, so we're playing catch up. But the fact that Anthropic did not release this because apparently it was a bit too rambunctious, it escaped its sandbox, and then emailed its creators and said, "Yeah, I'm out running loose," and they decided to pull it back. The other, the other
Sorry.
piece of this that happened about the same time was that one of these models found a bug and forgive me because did not write it down, but one of the oldest, most secure operating system languages out there that no human had found yet, and that that feels like a tipping point of some kind. So I'm curious to see if anybody else, is paying attention to this, because I applaud Anthropic in a huge way for not saying, "Oh, we've got this amazing new thing and everybody go play with it," and handed everybody a loaded gun.
You know, part of me is wondering if this wasn't just a very effective viral marketing campaign. I mean, saying you can't have it, I think is more effective marketing than saying you can have it.
Jim, if it had been in a neutral time, I would have said maybe. How do you keep something like that quiet? But given Anthropic's surge because of the DOJ's position on Anthropic, I don't think they needed a marketing gimmick. I think they were doing just fine. And look, you knew some of this stuff had to come sooner or later. So, Marty, any thoughts?
I just think it's funny. It's like they create a little monster that broke loose and, tore up the shrubs in the neighborhood. I just think it's funny.
Okay. Dave, how about from a corporate security standpoint? I mean, this does seem to run potentially roughshod over a lot of security things, since it escaped from a sandbox that was built to hold it.
Yeah. It tells you more and more why enterprise is sticking on the Microsoft side of things with Copilot, because they keep that control, where you got Anthropic or ChatGPT or even Gemini for that matter, or even more Claude. There's so many. I still can't believe it. We have these many flavors of AI these days, but it is not something that they would look at very lightly. If they can't keep it in compliance with InfoSec and keeping it secure, it's not going to happen as far as its usage. The guarantee companies are being very cautious. This has to be a good word for it when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, I think the intent was good. I mean, they're playing around with agentic AI, that, bots and things that you send out to go do stuff. So you have to open the gate to let them out. Unfortunately, they got out of the their own little sandbox, and got into some trouble with it. But this is where I think AI is going to go. You're going to have these regular agents, and then you're going to, these platforms, and then they're going to have agents to send out to gather information. It's just this one got loose.
Yeah. So we kind of go back to what we said: play with this stuff, get to know it, get to learn how to use it, but just be aware that you may not want to give it too many permissions. Jeff?
All right. So based on a lot of the coverage that I've been seeing, I think that there's a lot of people out there that are writing and talking about this that don't realize the role that AI has been playing in, in coding and product development for several years. That said, wow, sorry about that. Maybe I need some of Guy's drink. Anyhow, so what Anthropic is doing is really interesting, because there we go. Nope, didn't fix it. Okay. So they're coming in from the back end, whereas other companies have been coming in from the front end. So using AI that's tied directly into your IDE is a thing that's been around for a while, and is something that's used at the enterprise level to help manage projects and make sure that all of the different parts of a coding project are coming together correctly. And it's doing all the stuff that that needs to happen to make sure a project gets or comes together the way it needs to, and minimizes security risks and conflicts with different parts of codes, because you're going to have different teams working on different parts of the project. So that's not new. The new part here is coming in from the other end and saying, well, we already have all this code, and it's not even our code. Let's run this code through the system and see what else it finds. And I do find that very compelling, because now you can approach the overall project from both sides. The problem that I see here is that I don't think Anthropic gets how you develop products for the enterprise level. And they went into this with the processes that they normally use for everything else they do, created something that's very compelling, but didn't create it in a way that that in its current form can really effectively be relied on in the environment that that it ought to be targeting. So with all of that, people saying, "Oh, well, they're holding it back from us." No, they're not. This is a product for a specific market. We are not that market. This is not a thing that you're going to put out there for the general public to use. It's also a necessary element. Marty was pointing to some of this, because you have you already have the bad guys using AI tools to try and find the flaws in software and different services, so that it can be hacked into. And now you need to have the AIs that are fighting and combating that. And I've talked about the kind of dark hidden war that's going on with AI at the enterprise level with security. This just plays into it. It's all part of the same game. And if you don't have the tools to combat what the bad guys are using, then you have no way to combat them at all at this point. So, yeah. And saying other companies are going to come up with something like this, of course they are. Everyone's working on this stuff. But it is kind of funny that it broke out of its cage and went rogue.
Well, Barry in the chat room said, and I'm quoting here, and I'm Sylvia. Decades ago, an AI program escaped from NSA Lawrence Livermore Laboratory and has never been recaptured. True story. Read Guy Morris's SNO, I guess San Francisco Chronicles trio, Swarm, The Last Ark, and The Image. So I don't know any more than that, Barry, but I will. I'm adding it to my list to go look up after the show. And if I can find everything, or if you can find everything, throw some links to it. That sounds interesting. I'd love to know what kind of AI program and what it's been up to.
Especially for one that was decades ago.
Yeah. It might explain a lot of what's been happening over the past few decades. Jeff, there was something in there, though. I was going to say this for the end of the show, but because it's kind of off topic and kind of on. But talking about, being ahead of your time and all. As I said, I was doing some traveling, and I pulled out a movie I've wanted to watch, a documentary I've wanted to watch on general magic for quite some time. If you go to the link at the very bottom of the show notes, the link is there, and you can watch it on Amazon Prime or rent it. It's really, really very interesting to see what General Magic was putting together at the time the Newton was coming out, pre-iPhone, obviously. There are a lot of faces you're going to recognize, but the realization that they were building, and it came after they built it, unfortunately, and realized they couldn't sell it because people didn't want it. They weren't ready for it. And it truly was a device ahead of its time. And it's worth it. I think it's about an hour and a half long. It's absolutely worth the time to look and just realize how far things have come. It it captivated me because at first I thought, yeah, this is something I can put on in the background and just pick up snippets. And it was very, very good. So check it out. But Jeff, your comments, I think, were spot on that we're so early into this. And is everybody really ready for it? So, Barry added to his comment. Their novels. The FBI came to his door just before the first of the 3 was about to be optioned for a motion picture. He could publish the book but not make the movie. And his wife interviewed him on her podcast. Okay, Barry, give me a link, and I will definitely put it in the show notes. That's really interesting.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.